So the tangent and normal to the cycloid has not been discussed. Okay, is it so? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, so I have to discuss the tangent and I will discuss the tangent and normal to the cycloidal curve. Then I will go to the next two curves. Okay, that is epicycloid and hypocycloid. These two curves will be discussed today. So, sorry. So, is there any doubt regarding the construction of cycloid curve? So, if not, then let me present the screen. Please wait. Okay, so can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So, today basically we'll discuss about the now the tangent or normal to the cycloid. Say I have drawn any cycloid first of all. Okay, I have drawn it. So let us start with this. That means I have drawn this cycloid. Okay. So what is cycloid? Basically, just a small recapitulation. A cycloid is nothing but a curve, special type of engineering curve. That is how it is traced. Basically, it is a locus of a point. This is the point. Say, for example, you can see my cursor also, right? You can see my cursor also.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So it is a locus of a point. Okay, on the point which is on the circumference of a circle, and that circle is rolling. Okay, say this is the direction. It is rolling for one full revolution. Say for example, for one full revolution, what will be the locus of this point? Because when this circle will roll, say for example clockwise, obviously this point also will move upwards, and after some time it will reach somewhere over here at the top. Then as my circle rolls, it will the point will again come down to the ground. Fine. So it completes a full revolution, one full revolution, if the diameter of the circle is my d. So this obviously this length will be my pi d or 2 pi r. Okay, because I'm considering one full revolution. So this curve traced uh, by this point, okay, is known as basically the cycloid. When my circle is rolling on a straight path. Yes, that is the important thing. When my circle is rolling on a straight path without slipping. Okay, so that was the definition of cycloid. And if you have just you are aware about the steps how to draw this cycloid. Now tangent and normal, that means where I have to draw tangent or normal at any point, at any point. Okay, say for example I am taking this point. Okay, you can see this is the q point. At this point I have to draw tangent to this curve and I have to draw normal to this curve. Okay, and you know that tangent and normal makes 90-degree angle with each other. So how to draw that? So at this point q, if I have to draw the tangent and normal, the first step I have to take my compass. Okay, I have to take my compass and I have to take this CP length. I repeat, I have to take this CP length. That means the radius of this circle. Nothing but the radius. CP is what? CP is the radius of the circle. So I will take that much of arc in my compass. I will put one leg of my compass at this point Q, and I will cut that much of arc. That means this CP arc, whatever the arc length I have taken in the compass, on which line? You can see on this central line. Okay, on this C line, on which C1, C2, C3, C4, these points are lying. On that central line I will cut an arc, so that will give me one intersection point somewhere over here. When I am getting this intersection point from that particular point where it has been cut, okay, so this is the CP that I have just cut. From that point I have to drop down a vertical line on this base straight line or the straight path on which my circle is rolling. So from that point what I am doing, I am dropping down a vertical, that means the perpendicular, on this straight path which cuts this straight path at a point. That point, say for example, it is my n. Okay, from this point n, whenever I am getting this point n, from this point n, I will take my scale, I will join this point n to q, and I will extend like this. Okay, so this is what, this is the normal to this curve, normal to the cycloid. So just I'm repeating the last part of the drawing, that whenever I'm getting this this intersection point, from this point I'm dropping down a perpendicular on this straight path, it will cut at a particular point n. Just join that point n with that arbitrary point you have taken on the curve q, and you extend. So that is nothing but the normal. Okay, normal. So once I'm getting the normal, how I can draw the tangent at this same point? Just I will take a 90-degree. Okay, at this point q, I will take a 90-degree with this normal, so that I will get the tangent. So this is the normal and this is the tangent. Very simple to draw this tangent and normal to this curve. For each and every curve, you have to draw tangent and normal after drawing the curve on the same curve. So this is the discussion on which we have learned that how to draw the tangent and normal to any cycloid. Is there any doubt? Tell me. Is it clear to everyone?
স্যার,
Yes.
যদি আপনি একে বোঝাতেন একটু বেশি ক্লিয়ার হতো।
একে আমি কি করে বোঝাবো? আমার কাছে তো বোর্ড নেই, তো I have to show in the, that's why we have made these presentations. তোর অসুবিধা কোথায় হচ্ছে বল? In which part you have doubt, that you have to say. I will try to make it clear. Others, is this clear? Tangent and normal, how to draw? Hello.
Abhishek sir,
Yes.
you better explain once again. That will be clear, I think.
No. Okay,
if people are having any doubt.
That is not an issue. I can repeat, that is not an issue. But I am asking to the students, those who have understood. Those who have understood, please reply first. Have you understood? Unmute yourself and say something.
In chat box, some students are writing repeat again.
Okay, I'm repeating. But feel free to unmute yourself and ask me or tell your issue. Okay, that's why I'm telling you. Okay, so let me go back to this cycloid. I'm not going to discuss how to draw this cycloid basically, because that has been discussed in the last class. Today I am discussing how to draw tangent and normal to this curve. What is the curve? This is the cycloid. Okay, this is the cycloidal curve. So where I have to draw tangent and normal? At any point. Okay, say for example any arbitrary point I am taking, any arbitrary point. Okay, that point is nothing but q. Okay, listen carefully. How to draw tangent and normal at this point to this curve? This is the curve cycloid. So at this point q, I have to draw a tangent, I have to draw a normal. How to draw? First step, take your compass. Okay, take your compass, take this length cp, take this length cp in your compass. Okay, cp, and from this point q, put one leg of your compass at this point q and cut this c line, this line, central line, okay, on which c1, c2, c3, c4, these points are lying. You just cut that much of arc. How much of arc? cp, that you have just taken. Okay, so that you will get an intersection point on this central line. That means this is that point, this is that particular point where I am just having the cursor. Once you are getting this point, from that particular point, drop down a perpendicular on the straight line. That means the straight path on which my circle is rolling. So once I am dropping down a perpendicular, I am getting another intersection point over here, another point on which it cuts. So once I am getting this point n, then I can draw the tangent and normal. Up to this it is clear to you or not? Or is there any doubt? Tell me, up to this point in. Don't write in the chat box, ask me directly.
Yes,
Unmute
sir.
yourself. Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you. So once I'm getting this point in, where I'm getting this point in, on this straight line, on this straight path. Once I'm getting this point in, just take your scale from this point in, you join this point Q and extend like this, extend a bit. Okay. So this pink line is what? This pink line is nothing but the normal to this curve, normal to this cycloid curve at this particular point Q. Okay. You can take any point, the method will be same. So once I'm getting this normal, okay, this normal, how can I draw the tangent? Just at this point I will draw 90° to this normal, I will get the tangent. So this is my normal, this is my tangent. Now it is clear. Should I proceed?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So now today we will basically discuss a curve which is your known as your epicycloid. Okay. In your assignment, lab assignment copy, that means lab assignment, whatever we have given, there you can find it just after I think it is your question number 3. Okay, epicycloid. So what is this epicycloid basically? So I'm coming to this problem, but let me just tell you first what is this epicycloid. You have understood cycloid. Okay. Cycloid is what? When I'm tracing a point which is lying on the circumference of a circle and my circle is rolling on a straight line, right? That is cycloid or not? That is the case of cycloid when my circle is rolling on a straight path, okay, and
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I'm tracing one point which is lying on the circumference of the circle for one full revolution. Here in epicycloid, what is happening? There will be two circles. That means, just I can say in other ways, that means I'm having a circle that is also rolling, say for example in clockwise direction, that is also rolling, but it is not rolling on a straight path, it is rolling on a curved path. I repeat, it is rolling on a curved path. Or in other way, I can say one circle is there which is rolling, that circle is called rolling circle. Always remember, the circle which rolls, okay, that circle is known as your rolling circle. So that rolling circle is rolling over another large circle. Okay, that large circle may be a part of your curved path. You can consider that just as a curved path or as a larger circle, bigger circle. So there will be one smaller circle, another bigger circle. So okay, so just try to understand it very simply. First, I'm having two circles. One is rolling circle, which one is the smaller circle, and another is the larger circle. It is not called larger circle. That circle is basically called the directing circle. Okay, rolling circle and directing circle. Okay, so rolling circle is also called generating circle. So just for example, now you just consider the rolling circle term. You remember the rolling circle term. So rolling circle means which rolls on the directing circle, over the directing circle. So then also same, if I do the same thing, that means if I trace it, let me just show you once. Say for example, okay, this blue circle is the rolling circle or the generating circle, you can see, and this black one, whatever you are observing, some part, okay, some part has been drawn, that is your directing circle. There is a larger circle. If I draw this full circle, that is like this, okay, that is a larger circle over which my rolling circle is rolling. And again, I'm fixing one point on the circumference of the rolling circle, and I'm tracing that point for one full revolution. Then I'm getting this type of curve. This curve is known as your epicycloid. Is that clear? The concept is clear or not? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
So what is the case? Again, I am repeating, I am having two circles. One is the rolling circle, another is the directing circle. Directing circle is the larger one. Okay, both the diameters or the radius will be given in the problem. So the rolling circle is rolling, say for example clockwise like this, and I'm just similarly like your cycloid, I'm fixing one point P, okay, on the circumference of the rolling circle, and I'm tracing that point for one full revolution of the rolling circle. Then whatever the curve I will getting, that curve is known as your epicycloid. Okay, so the concept is clear to all of you. Some of you response. Okay, so now we will discuss how to draw this. Okay, let us see that. So read the question first, because if you see the question, there nothing has been written in the question that draw epicycloid. What has been written in the question? Someone please read. Someone please read the question. Anyone? Hello?
Draw locus of a point on the
Hmm.
periphery of a circle which rolls on a curved path.
Which
Take
rolls
diameter
on a
of
curved path. Stop. Draw locus of a point on the periphery of a circle which rolls on a curved path. This is very important. On a curved path. That means it is rolling over it. Okay. So from this thing, from this the first line, you have to understand which curve I have to draw. Here, let me mention another point, that if it is written under the curved path, that means if it rolls inside the directing circle, then that type of curve is known as your hypocycloid. That I will discuss just after this. Okay, that is known as your hypocycloid. So I am repeating epicycloid and hypocycloid. What is epicycloid? When any rolling circle rolls over or on a curved path or on a directing circle, on a larger circle, okay, then that type of curve is known as your epicycloid. Whatever the curve that we trace, that is known as your epicycloid. But if the same rolling circle is rolling inside or under the curve path, okay, then it is known as my hypocycloid. Let me just show you the picture of the hypocycloid. This is the hypocycloid. Can you see? Can you see this one?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So here
Yeah,
you see, this is
sir.
the larger circle, this one. Okay, this black one, this is the directing circle also you can call, and this blue one is my rolling circle. It is rolling inside. Then I am getting a separate type of curve by the same type of method. Okay, if you understand epicycloid, hypocycloid is very easy. But here you see, from the inside of a curve path, that is the difference between those two questions. So from the question you have to understand which type of curve you have to draw, epicycloid or hypocycloid. So if anyone can clarify me when I will draw the epicycloid, when I will draw the hypocycloid, I will be glad to know. Anyone please? Anyone? What are the two cases you have understood? How to draw, that I am coming. Anyone? What is the difference you have understood?
So when the circle rolls on the curved path, it is the epicycloid, and when the circle rolls inside the curved path,
Okay.
then it's the hypocycloid.
Yes, you are good. But one thing that technically I should correct you, that just you are calling the circle is rolling on the circle or the circle is rolling under the circle or beneath the circle. Here try to name the circle. When the rolling circle rolls over the directing circle, that is known as my epicycloid. When my rolling circle rolls under the directing circle, that is known as my hypocycloid. Clear?
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
Only that terminology you have to maintain, nothing else. You have understood?
Okay, sir.
I know.
Yes,
But
sir.
that terminology is very important for if you give any viva, if anyone asks you, then you should say in this fashion. Otherwise, it's fine. So now we will discuss how to draw the epicycloid. You see, the diameters are given in the problem. Take the diameter of the rolling circle, 50 millimeter, and radius of the directing circle. One is given in terms of diameter, another one is given in terms of radius. Be careful in this step. I repeat, be careful in this step, because you have to deal with the diameter or the radius. Okay, which one is given in terms of diameter and which one is given in terms of radius, that you have to be careful. So the radius of the directing circle, that is the curved path, is your 75 millimeter is given. So how to start it? So these are the some steps it is mentioned, but you just listen to me. The steps I will explain so that it will be more easy to understand. How to start? First, you take the directing circle. You fix any point on your drawing sheet or your sketchbook page. You fix any point, that is the center point, that is my point O. What is this capital R? Which one should be the capital R? This 75 millimeter or not?
Yes, sir.
This 75 millimeter is the radius of the directing circle. Okay, first I have to draw the directing circle. Another thing, no need to draw the whole directing circle. They have not drawn, because I will take the rolling circle somewhere over here and I will consider, or I will trace for one full revolution. So I don't need the whole directing circle. I need some part of the directing circle. Okay, so that's why just from your concept, that means from your idea, according to the space, you just draw an arc like this first, taking the radius capital R. Capital R means here in this problem, capital R value is 75. That is nothing but the radius of the directing circle. Okay, so first you draw this arc. Okay, there is some limitation how much you have to draw this arc, that I am coming. But first you take an arc, arbitrary arc, and arbitrary in the sense this arc length I'm talking about, but the radius should be this 75 millimeter. So this is nothing but the directing circle that you can see. Okay, now what should be my task? Tell me from your idea, what should be my task? Next step should be to draw the rolling circle or not?
Yes, rolling circle draw.
I have to place the rolling circle. Now where I have to place? I can place anywhere. That is the first thing you have to understand. I have to, but I have to place. Starting point is up to you. From where you will start, but where you will end. End means after one full revolution, where my circle will come. That position is, I have to find out that position. But I can start from anywhere. So I have to say, for example, I have drawn over here. How to draw? Basically, I'm telling you the step. Listen carefully. First, whenever from this point to you have taken this directing circle, this radius R, you just extend this line on this side. Okay, extend outside this directing circle, so that, okay, this is the generating or the rolling circle. It is rolling clockwise direction. I am talking about this line. If you can see, can you see this line? Because whenever you have to draw this circle, you need the center. Okay, you need the center of the circle. How to get the center of the circle? How to get the center? So from this point to, you draw this line and extend. Okay, like this. Now you see, take the diameter of the rolling circle, 50 millimeter. What should be the radius?
25 millimeter.
25 millimeter. That means 2.5 centimeter. Same thing. So from where I should take the 2.5 centimeter, so that I will get the I'll get the center of the circle. From where I have to draw, I have to take that 2.5 or the 25 millimeters, so that I can get the center of this circle. Because they have drawn it, they have shown it like this, but I have to draw. When you will draw, you need the center. How to locate the center? Any idea?
So we can extend up to 10, then 7.5 plus 2.5. Then
Yes,
on
that
point
means
we can.
yes, you are correct. That means just I have to extend it. Okay, whenever I'm extending 7.5 plus 2.5, just you can do, or in other sense, if you just extend from this intersection point, you just take 2.5 by your scale, then also you will get the center point of this circle. Why I'm taking 2.5? Because the radius of the rolling circle is 2.5 centimeter or 25 millimeter. Okay, so whenever I am extending this line, where again there some question may be in your mind, where I will draw this line? Anywhere. Starting position is up to you. Ending position you have to fix. But this is the starting position of the rolling circle. So that's why I can draw anywhere. Say for example, here I have drawn this line. From this intersection point, you take 2.5 millimeter outside the directing circle, so that you will 2.5 centimeter, so that you will get the center point, and you draw this rolling circle. So this placing of the rolling circle, it is clear to all of you? Placement of
Yes,
this
sir.
rolling
Yes,
circle?
sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. So once you have drawn this rolling circle, now it is rolling clockwise for one full revolution, that we know, and I have to trace. Okay, so first thing, basically the center point, you can name it as C. Okay, now you have to divide this circle into 8 equal parts. Okay, like cycloid. In the case of cycloid also you have divided, so I'm not repeating the same thing. You can just easily divide this circle into 8 equal parts. Is there any doubt about this division? Because this was discussed in the cycloid, that's why I am telling. Is there any doubt how to divide this circle into 8 equal parts?
No, sir.
Okay. Still within 10-20 seconds I'm telling, just whatever this line you have drawn over here, okay, how to divide. Basically first you have to divide into 4 equal parts. How to divide 4 equal parts? Whatever this line you have drawn, you are extending up to this periphery, that means just up to this periphery of this circle. So this vertical line you have got, then you draw 90° at this center, so that you got this horizontal line. Okay, so that's why 4 equal parts already I have got. So each of the part, how to divide, again take 45°, okay, extend that to the other part of the circle, so that it will be divided into, and same thing over here also, so that it will be divided into 8 equal parts. Now once you have divided into 8 equal parts, you have to name it, that you know. Why the naming is from this side? 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 8, or this
Because it is
point
going clockwise.
okay. Anyone else, or the same answer?
Because the circle is rolling on the
Yes,
clockwise.
that
so
was the same concept for the cycloid also. Okay, this naming is very important, because otherwise after some time you will confuse with the points. Okay, so you can divide this circle into 12 equal parts also, that is up to you, but standard at least 8 equal parts should be there. So starting from this point, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7, and as my circle is rolling in clockwise direction, rolling circle, my naming or the nomenclature also should be in the clockwise direction. And this is the last point, 8th point, or the P point, which point I will trace, okay, for one full revolution. Now okay, this is the CP, this is the CP that already we have taken. Okay, CP distance, small r is nothing but this half of this 50 millimeter, that means 25 millimeter. Now from this point O I have to draw some arcs. Okay, from this point O means point O is my center, okay, and O to 4 is my radius in my compass, that means arc radius, and I am drawing O to 4 I am taking in my compass and placing one leg at this point O, at this point center point O, I am drawing this arc up to which I don't know now, but still I will draw up to some distance. Okay, what is that distance? This angle I have to find out, let it be theta. Here if you recapitulate, there is a difference between cycloid and epicycloid. In the cycloid, when my rolling circle was rolling for one full revolution, okay, for one full revolution, the just on a straight path, how much that distance it covered? There was some length, right? It was pi d. If you recapitulate, that length was pi d. That means for one full revolution of this, if it rolls on a straight line, that is my pi d. But here it is not the straight line, it is on a curved path. That means it will travel some angle. Okay, it will travel some angle. That means for one full revolution of this rolling circle, that means after one full revolution, my rolling circle will be somewhere over here. Okay, when it is over here, up to that position I need, so that movement basically creates a sector. Okay, you can see this is a sector of a circle. Okay, or in other words I should say, it will create an angle at the center point. That angle here we have to find out, because here there is no question of straight line distance. Okay, so for one full revolution, this rolling circle will create an angle at the center, up to which I will confine my drawing. Okay, my drawing should not go beyond that. Okay, my curve should not go beyond that limit. So that is for one full revolution. Now what is that? How to calculate? It is very easy. This equation for this theta is small r by capital R multiplied by 360 degrees. Small r is what? Radius of the rolling circle. Capital R is what? Radius of the directing circle. And theta is what? Angle. Okay, theta is what? Angle. So 360 degree. So 360 degree for 360 degree. So this r basically, this r is capital R is basically the radius of the directing circle, and rolling circle is my just it is rolling. Why 360 degree? Because my rolling circle is rolling how much angle? One full revolution means 360 degree. So that's why we are multiplying with 360 degree. And what this theta gives me? This theta is giving me at the center of this directing circle how much angle it will create due to the movement of this 360 degree of this rolling circle. So this is the simple equation. Both the small r and capital R will be given, or in the other way you can say small d by capital D. You will get the same result. Small d by capital D multiplied by 360, or small r by capital R multiplied by 360 degree. So once this thing you have to calculate separately, and you have to show on the drawing sheet that how much this angle is coming. That means due to the movement of 360 degree of this rolling circle, how much angle theta it is creating on the center of the directing circle. That is basically the physical significance of this equation, and that value we need, that is nothing but theta. So here in this problem, what is the value of theta? Basically we have to calculate. If you see, small r value is my 25, capital R is my 75. What should be the value of theta in this problem? Anyone?
12.
Theta value is 12 or 120?
120.
120 degree, right? So here they have not shown the calculation. Here just you have to put the values and you have to show how much theta angle it is creating due to the full revolution. That means one full revolution, 360 degree of this rolling circle. So that theta you have to calculate here. That is coming, say for example, 120 degree. Now you have to take that angle with the help of your protector. With the help of your protector, 360 degree protector you are having. So just you have to fix and you have to draw this line. That means up to this I have to work. That means this is my initial position and this is my final position. Okay, that means this point P will again come back to this point. Okay, after one full revolution. Now the steps are very simple. As I have divided this circle into 8 equal parts, whatever the angle I have got, 120 degree, I have to divide that angle also into 8 equal parts like this. Okay, I'm showing you. Okay, how many parts? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see. Okay, so as I have divided this circle into 8 equal parts, whatever the angle here, for example 120 degree, that angle also I have to divide into 8 equal parts. How to divide? Anyone? How to divide this angle into 8 equal parts? Here you see 120 by 8. If you do, how much it is coming? Each of the part angle?
50.
10 degree.
15 degree, right? It is coming 15 degree. That means separately you can take 15 degree, okay, 8 times, so that you will get the 8 equal parts, or just by using the compass also. That means in all the cases this angle, just whenever you are dividing by 8, it may not come in the round figure. Okay, it may not come in the round figure. So then what you will do? Then you can go for the compass method. That means whatever the angle you are having, first you bisect it. You know how to bisect any angle. I don't think that I have to tell you. You know how to bisect any angle. I think from the basic geometry you should know that. So first you divide this angle into 2 equal parts. Then each of the part, if you divide again, if you just bisect again, you will get 4 equal parts. Again, each of the 4 equal parts, if you divide again, you will get the 8 equal parts. Just by bisecting. Just you have to know how to bisect any angle. The last method, whatever I told, is that clear to everyone? Is that clear, the bisection?
Yes, sir.
So 2 ways are there, that is up to you. One, if you are getting round value, you can take just by each and every angle, say 15 degree you are getting, you can take 15 degree, 15 degree, 15 degree, that is up to you. Or you can bisect, go on bisecting. Okay, actually 3 times you have to bisect. Okay, then you will get 8 equal parts. Whatever this angle you are having, go on bisecting 3 times, you will get 8 equal parts. So once you are getting these 8 equal parts, then you have to draw these lines. Lines means how to draw? Just see again the same method. Whatever I have told, center point is my O. O to 4 was my radius, and I have drawn the outer arc, this one. Okay, O24 is my radius, and I have drawn this outer arc, this one. Similarly, all the arcs I have to draw. Okay, this is the final position they have drawn, but you may not draw this final position of this circle. Okay, you may not draw this one. Initial one you have to draw. But from the C, that means O to C, draw the central line first. Okay, draw the central line. O to C is my radius. I'm repeating, O to C is my radius in my compass. O is my center. O to C is my radius, and complete this arc up to which? Up to this theta angle that we have drawn. Okay, this is the central arc line over here. And similarly, we have to draw some another arcs also. Same center point. Center point is my O. Now here you can see O to 3. O to 3 is my radius. O to 3. If I try to draw any arc taking the radius O to 3, that arc should pass through 5 or not? That arc should pass through 5 or not? Hello?
Should pass.
Because if you have divided this circle into 8 equal parts, then if I take O to 3 as my radius in my compass, and if I try to draw an arc, that arc should pass through 5. Okay, so 3, 5 should lie on the same arc line, and I am drawing the arc up to the theta. Similarly, now next you tell me which arc I have to draw. O to 2, O to 1 also I have to draw. O to 2. So O to 2, if I take the radius, that arc should pass through which point? 6 or not?
2, 6, 2, 6.
2, 6,
6.
2, 6. Now see here, don't mix up these two arc lines. Central arc line is a separate arc line. 2, 6 arc line is a separate arc line. But those two arc lines will be very close. Central arc line is C, that means O to C was the radius, if you recapitulate. Now here O to 2 is my radius, and 2, 6 is a separate arc. And similarly 1 to 7 also. O to 1 is my radius, and that is my 1 to 7 arc. Okay, and all the arcs should run up to this theta. Okay, up to this line it should run. Okay, now, and I have divided this angle earlier. Now these points you have to mark. Which points? See carefully, whatever the points I'm marking, these points will be nothing but like the cycloid. It will be like, the naming should be like this: C1, C2, C3, C4, C5, and it will run up to C8. Okay, C1 is which one? This is the C1 first. This is the first division of the angle. All these C1, C2, C3 points are lying on which arc line? Can you tell me? C1, C2, C3, C4, and so on. All these points are lying on which arc line?
Center arc line.
Central arc line, no other arc line. Always remember, you can see the mark. It is clearly shown that it is lying on the central arc line. Okay, in cycloid it was horizontal. If you recapitulate, it was horizontal, but here it is my angular. That's why I have to locate this C1, C2, C3, C4 on an arc. Can you tell me, any one of you, what is the importance, what is the significance of this C1, C2, C3, C4, these points? What is the physical significance of these points? Anyone can tell me?
Rolling.
What are these basically? Practically, what are these?
At the
These
center
points.
of the circle.
Yes, all these points are
Center.
center points.
It will remain same. I mean, throughout the.
Okay, yes, that means when my rolling circle is rolling, my center point is also moving or not? These are nothing but those center points. Okay, C1, C2, C3, C4, and so on. Okay, so these center points will lie on a same arc line, and finally you can see that is also lying on the same arc line. That is my C8 point. That is my final, okay, final center point. So each and everything should be clear to you from the physical point of view. That's why I'm telling. Okay, up to this, is there any doubt? Now I'll go to the last step of this construction. Up to this, it is clear to all of you? Up to this marking of this C1, C2, C3, C4 points. Is there any doubt? Is there any doubt? No one is responding. That means what should I take? Hello?
No doubt, sir. No doubt.
No doubt.
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So now If it is clear up to this, now I will tell you the final step to get the locus points. What should be the final step? It is similar to the cycloid. It is similar to the cycloid. Take your compass. Take your compass. Take the length CP. CP means this radius of this rolling circle. Radius of this rolling circle, take it in your compass, CP. Okay, that is nothing but small r. Radius of the rolling circle. Take it in your compass. Place your compass at the first C point, that means C1. Place your compass at C1. Cut the first arc line. Which is the first arc line? The arc that is coming from point 1. The arc that is coming from point 1. That means, see this part. I have to cut over here. That means this point, intersection point, I will get. I'm repeating this step again. Listen carefully. Take your compass. Take the radius of the rolling circle, that is nothing but CP. Okay, take this much of length in your compass. Place your compass at C1 first and cut the first arc line. C1, 1 stands for first. So whenever I'm placing at C1 my compass, I have to cut first arc line. First arc line means first arc line and seventh arc line is same, that because 1 and 7 is lying on the same arc line. So the from point 1, this is the arc line. So I will cut this much of arc on this first arc line. So I will get a point over here. Mark that point. What should be my next step? I will place my compass without changing the arc length. That is nothing but this CP. I will place at which point? C2. I will place at
C2.
C2. I will cut which arc line? Second arc line. That means 2 6.
Second.
2 6.
6.
This one. Somewhere over here I will get the intersection point. Next point, C3. I'm not changing the arc length in my compass. Placing at C3. Which arc line I should cut? 3 5.
5 3 5.
3 5 is the same arc line. So somewhere over here I will get the intersection point. Mark that. Just you have to show the cut point. From C4, which arc line I should cut? Fourth one. Fourth one means top one.
Top.
Okay. It will just touch. Whenever you will try to cut this line, it will just touch the topmost arc line. From C5, which arc line I should cut? From C5, which arc line I should
1
cut?
7.
No, no,
One
C5.
C1 first arc line আমি কাটছি, C2 second arc line, C3 third arc line, C4 fourth, C5 means fifth arc line. Fifth arc line means 3 and 5 is the same arc line.
3 5 3 5.
Now you see this C5, from this point C5 I can cut that much of length, that means that CP length on the left side also or on the right side also. Which side I should cut now?
Right side.
Right side.
Right
Right
side. Why
right
right
side.
side? Because my circle is rolling clockwise or to the right. Obviously my point P will move towards right, not to the left. So that's why I will cut from the C5 towards right, that CP length, so that I will get somewhere over here a point. From C6, same method. I will cut the 2 6, okay, on the right. From C7, this is the C7 point. Which line I should cut? 1 7. That means this one. 1 and 7 is the same arc line. That means somewhere over here I will get. From C8, which line I should cut? 8th line. That means this is nothing but it will just again come to the base arc line. Okay, so that is the final point. P point will again come back to the, again touch the directing circle. So once you have marked all these points, I am showing you so that it will be more clear, all the points. Please see it carefully. Okay, all the points are visible. All the points are visible or not? The green locus points, these are nothing but the locus points. Okay, now if you join these locus points with the help of your French curve, you will get a curve something like this. This curve is known as your epicycloid. Tell me if you are having any doubt. And this curve should be joined by your HB pencil, and the other parts, whatever you have drawn, all those things should be drawn by your H or 2H pencil. That means those should be light. This main curve, that means this pink one, this curve should be highlighted. That means that should be drawn by your HB pencil. Is there any doubt? Okay, still I am basically recording this lecture. I will share with you in the Google Classroom so that if any step you miss, then also you can refer it. Okay, clear this one? So epicycloid, once you have understood epicycloid, it is very easy to understand now hypocycloid. Very easy. It will take 5 minutes. I'm assuring you. Okay, may I proceed? The hypocycloid?
Yes, sir.
Okay, you see, it is just same concept. Same concept will lie over here. Okay, I'm showing you the question first. Hypocycloid. Read the question first. What is written? Draw locus of a point on the periphery of a circle which rolls from the, what it is written? Inside of
Inside of
the
a
curve path.
curve.
That means I have to draw which curve. I have to fix it over here on the first line. I have to draw hypocycloid. Okay. Now again the same type of dimensions you can see. Take the diameter of the rolling circle is given, radius of the directing circle. That means same dimension is given like the last problem. So I'm showing you the process. Method is same. I have to start with the directing circle. I have to take, I'm showing you, you just follow me. First you have to take a point O. Okay. Okay, I'm discussing the hypocycloid now. First I have to take the point O. I have to take, okay. So this is what? This is nothing but the directing circle. Okay. Directing circle, what is the radius? 75 millimeter. Okay. That is given in the problem. 75 millimeter. That is nothing but the capital R. Okay. This is my capital R. What is the value of small r in this problem?
50 mm. 25.
Small r. I am asking small r, not small d. Small d is given. Okay. 50 millimeter.
25.
So 25. So this type of silly mistakes students used to do. That's why I'm telling you again and again. So the method is same starting. That means I'm taking any arbitrary point. I'm taking any arc first. Okay. Because until and unless I'm calculating theta, I cannot fix the end. Okay. End of this arc. So I'm drawing an arc first. Then by the same method, I am drawing this rolling circle. In the epicycloid, I have drawn this circle outside over here. Okay. But for the case of hypocycloid, I will draw the rolling circle inside the directing circle like this. Okay. Same method. That means you take the diameter. That means you take the radius from this point. First you draw this line from the O. From this intersection point, you take the radius so that you will get the center of this rolling circle, and you can draw this rolling circle. Okay. And which is rolling anti-clockwise. Here I am taking it anti-clockwise. You can take as clockwise also, but if it rolls clockwise, I have to draw on the left side. Okay. On this side, then I have to draw, okay, the arc, the directing circle on this side. But as I have drawn the directing circle over here, I am considering my circle is rolling anti-clockwise like this. That is basically the difference. So now I am calculating the theta. Same equation, small r by capital R into 363. There is no difference. Okay, from the equation point of view, there is no difference. Small r, capital R, all the values are given in the problem. You calculate the theta. The same, that means here also we will get 120 degree. Take that much of angle, fix the angle theta. Now, okay, radius of the directing circle, small r is the radius of the generating circle or the rolling circle. Okay, same thing. Next, what should I do? Okay, they have divided this angle first. You can divide this circle also. You can divide this circle first into 8 equal parts. Then you can divide this angle into 8 equal parts. That is totally up to you. Okay, here you can see that they have divided the angle first into 8 equal parts. Okay, just go on bisecting. Then they have drawn the arcs. But my suggestion is first you divide this circle into 8 equal parts. Then you divide these angles into 8 equal parts. Then you draw the arcs. Is that clear? I'm repeating.
Yes, sir.
First, you divide this circle into 8 equal parts, like you have divided into epicycloid, same method. Then you divide this angle into 8 equal parts, okay, by your bisection method or by taking angles. Then you draw those arcs that we have shown. But here I think they have shown it earlier. This is the final position of the circle. Okay. The sequence is not okay over here, but I'm showing you all the arcs. Here, interesting thing is that whenever you are dividing this circle into 8 equal parts, you can see the nomenclature. Here, the nomenclature is also going anti-clockwise, isn't it? Starting from
Yes,
what?
sir.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this is the 8th point or the P point. Which point I am tracing? I'm going to trace this P point, nothing but this P point. Okay, so this is basically the case over here. Only difference is the nomenclature. Be careful while you are giving the names, this division names 1, 2, 3, 4. Don't by mistake give it from this side. If you just give it from 1, 2, 3, 4 like this, you will be confused while you will place this C1, C2 points. Okay, you will not get the correct result. So that's why this naming always depends on the circle on which it is rolling, on which direction it is rolling. It is rolling clockwise or anti-clockwise. Here, in case of hypocycloid, as we can see that my rolling circle is rolling anti-clockwise, my naming also should go anti-clockwise like this. Fine? Is that clear up to this? And I think these arcs I should not repeat, because here also same method will be there. O is the center, O to 4 will be my radius. I'll draw this arc. Okay, now this circle you may not draw. Again, I'm saying this is the final position of the circle. This circle you may draw, you may not draw. That is up to you. And all these arcs, is there any doubt? 2, 6, 1, 7. This P already it is drawn. Is there any doubt?
No, sir.
No, no.
Because same thing, that means O is my center and I'm taking the radius. What is the radius? O to 4 first, that is this one. Then O to 3, that will pass through 5. O to 2, that is pass through 6. O to 1, that is pass through 7. And I will draw the arc up to theta. And interestingly and importantly, I should say, this central arc line should be separate, that you know. Okay, on which this C1, C2, these points will lie. What are these points? This C1, C2, these are nothing but intersection between the central arc line and this angle division. Okay, so and the last step, again last step is also same. That means I have to take my compass, I have to take this CP length. Okay, I have to take this CP length, that is nothing but the radius of the rolling circle, and I will first place at C1. I will first place at C1. Which line I should cut? Which line I should cut? First line means one line, 1, 7. Here you see the importance of nomenclature. If you start one from this side, then also you will get it, but that is not the proper way to nomenclature. Okay, so that's why I am saying 1, 2, 3. Okay, in this way you have to go the nomenclature. So firstly you have to, from placing C1, what is the arc length? CP. Which line I am cutting? One line, that means 1, 7 line. Somewhere over here I will get the arc point. Mark that point. From C2 I will cut. Okay, this is my P1. From C2 I will cut which line? 2, 6 line, you can see.
2, 6.
Okay, this is the arc point. That means this is the intersection point I will get. What is the arc length? Same arc length, CP. In my compass, CP will be fixed. Okay, from C3 I will cut the third arc line. That means 3, 5. I will get P3. From C4 I will cut fourth arc line. That means P4. Nothing but this one. From C5 I will cut fifth line. Again you see, fifth line can be cut from this side or from this side. I will cut on this side because this is my P point, which is rolling anti-clockwise. That means it will go in this direction. It will not again go back. Okay, so from C5 I will cut the fifth arc line. This is the 3, 5 line. That is nothing but P5. That point is P5. From C6 I will cut 2, 6 line on this side. That is my P6. And from C7 I will cut this 1, 7 line. This is the 1, 7 arc. That is my P7. And from C8 again it is nothing but it will touch the directing circle. Okay, so once I will join this P1, P2, P3, these points, I will get a curve something like this, which is known as your hypocycloid. Any doubt regarding the steps? Any difference you have found out? Any difference between the epicycloid and hypocycloid? Only my circle is rolling inside. And the nomenclature, the naming, you have to give the naming here anti-clockwise. Okay, still I am asking, if you are having any doubt at any step, you can ask me. Anyone? Any doubt? Hello? Hello?
No, sir, no doubt.
No, sir.
No doubt. No doubt.
Okay, thank you. But still, I can assure you that you may face some doubt when you will practice. Okay, when you will practice, you may forget some of the steps. That's why I will share this video in the Google Classroom. Okay, but please practice. Until and unless you are practicing it, you cannot memorize this. Okay, and if you can just, if you have understood the theme of the drawing, epicycloid and hypocycloid both are drawn in the same method. Okay, so only thing is that you have to practice it. Until and unless you cannot be perfect in the drawing, and you know how to join these points by your French curve, you have to join. Okay, this epicycloid and hypocycloid, and how to draw the tangent and normal, that will be discussed on the next class. Epicycloid and hypocycloid, how to draw the tangent and normal to these curves, that will be discussed on the next class. But please practice how to draw the epicycloid and hypocycloid, and you can take your question number 3 and 4. Question number 3 of your assignment number 1 is regarding epicycloid. Question number 4 in your assignment number 1 is regarding your hypocycloid. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I think today we have no time because your AutoCAD class will start. But on the next class, we will finish the assignment number 1. And also in the next class, it will be told to you that how to submit your assignment number 1. I will suggest you, whatever the problems we are discussing, practice it in your sketchbook. Okay, because once you draw in the sketchbook, that thing you can submit also by scanning. That will be just, you have to make a PDF and you have to upload there in the Google Classroom. That we will tell you in the next class how to submit. But my suggestion is to practice it, because on the last day you cannot draw all the drawings. Diagonal scale we have discussed, cycloid we have discussed, epicycloid and hypocycloid also we have discussed. So these 4 drawings, you practice it. If you are facing any issue, feel free to ask on the next class. I think I am clear enough. Okay, so thank you for attending. Join your AutoCAD class. Your attendance Google form I will circulate on that class. Okay.
Okay, sir. Sir,
Yes.
the recording Google Classroom দিয়ে দেবেন?
হ্যাঁ আমি দিয়ে দেবো আমি আজকেই দিয়ে দেবো।
Okay.
Okay, thank you. See you in the next class.